Hey everyone, welcome to another installment of Harry Potter Theory. In this video, we're going to be discussing Lord Voldemort and the fear-inspiring Boggart. Boggarts are essentially the manifestation of our deepest, darkest fears. They are amortal, shape-shifting non-beings that transform themselves into whatever it is that we fear most. No one knows what a Boggart looks like by itself, except for perhaps Mad-Eye Moody, because generally they transform as soon as you encounter them. When Boggarts aren't scaring people, they can usually be found rustling around in confined spaces or lurking around dark corners. Similar to poltergeists, which have an affinity for mischief, and dementors, which thrive on darkness and depression, Boggarts are paired with fear. Another frightening fact about Boggarts is that when they transform into something, they adopt the properties of that thing, i.e. when a Boggart transforms into a dementor, it's able to do all of the horrible things that a dementor can. The Boggart's power, however, will be much less potent than the original being. If you fear several things equally, then a Boggart will manifest itself in the form of each of your fears, cycling through them for maximum emotional scarring. The best way to defend against a Boggart is riddikulus, aka the Boggart banishing charm, which makes the Boggart look, well, ridiculous and hard to take seriously. Many characters have Voldemort as their Boggart, and this is understandable given that he is one of the most fear-inspiring beings in the wizarding world. But what's interesting is that the Boggart for Voldemort himself is never revealed in the books. So what does the Dark Lord, the man who instills fear in everyone else, fear himself? When J.K. Rowling was asked this very question in an interview, she responded with the following: Voldemort's fear is death. Ignominious death. I mean, he regards death itself as ignominious. He thinks that it's a shameful human weakness, as you know. His worst fear is death, but how would a Boggart show that? I'm not too sure. I did think about that because I knew you were going to ask me that. A corpse? That was my conclusion, that he would see himself dead. But there must be more depth to this answer. Yes, Voldemort's obsession is to cheat death, but does that necessarily mean that he would see his own corpse? Or could this fear of his own death manifest itself in a different form? Rowling seems somewhat unsure of her answer. The following exchange between Dumbledore and Voldemort in the Order of the Phoenix brings light to Voldemort's inability to process the concept of death. "You do not seek to kill me, Dumbledore?" called Voldemort, his scarlet eyes narrowed. "Above such brutality, are you?" "We both know that there are other ways of destroying a man, Tom," Dumbledore said calmly. "Merely taking your life would not satisfy me, I admit." "There is nothing worse than death, Dumbledore," snarled Voldemort. "You are quite wrong," said Dumbledore, speaking as lightly as though they were discussing the matter over drinks. "Indeed, your failure to understand there are things much worse than death has always been your greatest weakness. I think that more than anything, Voldemort is afraid of the unknown. Death brings so many questions along with it, and it is Voldemort's inability to process or conceive what might happen to him that scares him just so much, and this is a perfectly normal response. Because of this, I don't agree that Voldemort's Boggart would be his own corpse, already deceased. I think that his Boggart would be him on the brink of death, with his demise imminent. I say this because if he is already dead, then what he supposedly fears most would have already happened. If he's in a state of dying, with death slowly enveloping his life force, then I think that in this state he would be most afraid. He would lie there helpless, forced to consider what he fears most, the unknown. And that's it for this video. What do you guys think? Do you prefer JK's original answer or my theory? Let me know in the comment section below. Until next time, it does not do to dwell on dreams and forget to live.